Kunya, let me just say, right? The last KRIK I did literally took me out. I was coughing. I couldn't breathe. My asthma started acting up. So let me just start off by saying, like, legit, whatever you guys are going through, please handle it before you send me stories. Because mes amis ba la mon okay? The last KRIK almost killed me. I'm going to link it down below. I'm sure it's going to be posted before you guys see this one. But as you guys should know by now, I'm trying to bang all my old KrikKraks out. So you guys are going to get way more of these than usual. Thank you guys so much for supporting me. Again, if you have a story you would like to share, send it to the KrikKrak email. It is right here on the screen. It will also be linked down below. Please do not send it to my business email. Shout out to those of you guys who've been following instructions. And of course, when I say KRIK, you guys comment down below KRAK. Again, shout out to those guys who have been doing so. For those guys who haven't, you still have time to comment down below KRAK, okay? We're trying to get to 100K. Also, I'd like to remind you guys about 12 Days of Halloween that I do every October leading up to Halloween. If you guys have a small Haitian business, product, or service that you would like to promote, I am doing small business promo for an affordable price. If you guys are interested, here's information right here. Again, more info will be linked down below. So this next KrikKrak, I feel like, I don't know, like I think I ended up reading like a little bit of it. I can't really figure out what it's about, but I'm sure the title is going to tell you guys what it's about. So let's just hope it ain't too crazy, right? Hi, I saw you like to have stories to share. And honestly, I would love to tell this with you on camera if possible. So, yeah, we're not doing that. Long story short, if y'all been a follower for a long time, especially if you've been like on my main channel, you would know like it was a whole lot of controversy at one point with people figuring out who was writing into what, and then they getting mad because I ain't side with them. At one point, I do want to revisit this, though. I do want to revisit, like, having you guys tell your stories on camera. But I don't know. Let me know if this is something you guys would be interested in. I live over here in PA, and that's not far from New Jersey. Nope, it is not. I have a plethora amount of stories I could share. What you mean a plethora of stories? Okay, anyways. But here is one of the many. Also, love how your name on YouTube is Zoe. Oh, I think you guys think it's Zoe. Maybe I should start telling you guys my name is Chronicles of a Zoe. It's not Zoe. Like, for those of you guys that are Haitian, y'all know that it's Chronicles of a Zoe, but it's not Zoe. It's not Zoe at all. But okay. Love how your name on YouTube is Zoe, because that is also what I go by online myself. Comment down below if you guys thought my name was Zoe, because that's actually funny as hell. Definitely not. But anyways, the story I am going to share was inspired from your video on how you were the only survivor and a very unhappy, yeah, good days. My whole life, since 3, that is, I knew something was different about me, but I never questioned it or paid much attention, as I just saw it as just being part of who I was. High school came, and I just wanted to experience what it was like to be, well, normal. A normal high school experience, a boyfriend, a job, going to parties you were not supposed to. You get the picture. Well, one day I remember making my mind and set my attention to have a normal but great high school. Oh, wow, child. They spell great, Grate. I'm sitting here like, I'm confused. What is great, child? Great. Think you meant GR. Okay. Anyways, I even said it out loud to whoever it was that had been following me my whole life. I'm done. I'm going to live a normal life with a normal high school experience. I had to sever ties with the spirit that was following me for a very long time, too. So I could actually really relate to this. Well, I met my boyfriend in the second semester of 9th grade, and we started to date. It was amazing. I had a guy who was a family man. He didn't drink or smoke and was very close to his family. He didn't lie or steal. A 1 in a million in my area. Days turned to months, then 10th grade happened. Am I the only one that's like, you're calling a 10th grader a man, a family man? I don't know, in my trip, I might be a little like, doing so much, like, that's a little weird to me. Like, you guys are kids. Legitimate kids. But hey, it was in the evening and we decided we wanted to, well, lose it. Oh, I wish I was sipping my drink for this, but I just finished it. We were having our time together when I felt this very, very intense presence in the room. I felt him in the corner, seething at me, but more so at him. He vanished, and after that, I didn't think too much more on it. At that point, you should have went to go get a cleansing. 11th grade happened. At this point, now we were going on into almost 4 years of dating. Everyone that knew us saw us as the longest lasting couple in high school. He was going to college, but at the local community one. We had everything all planned out. But then one day he was picking me up from our friend's house to go over to his. A friend of his asked for a ride home. He said yes, and we all got in. I gave her the front seat out of respect, plus I was smaller than her. We started to head over when my boyfriend changed. He went from his normal self to a blank zombie, like someone took him over. Without looking, he grabbed her hand and held it. I was watching him become intimate with her. But as soon as that happened, it was like he snapped back into reality and he yanked his hand away from hers. I'm just going to let y'all comment down below because I don't know. I honestly was heartbroken at this, but pretended I didn't see anything. It was so out of character for him. Months passed and nothing more happened. What do you mean you didn't leave this man alone? We're just going to use the fact that you think that he was possessed. If he was possessed, that's more of a reason to leave him alone. But he disrespected you in your face. Child, we need more self-love. We need more character development in these stories because what are we actually talking about? Nothing more happened. What should have happened is you should have talked to him about it, saw what his response was, and went from there. Preferably, leave that man alone. Oh my God. Boy, kid, whatever, leave that man alone. Because what do we... 3 months later, he walked me to my place and he said he needed to talk. Ooh, child. I had a feeling I knew already. He came in and just broke down crying. I asked him why he was doing this, and he said he doesn't know and ran out. He was legit scared and confused. Sounds very high school to me. Maybe it's like, you know how like you see things from a different lens when you get older? Like, I feel like if I would have read this in college, I would have been like, oh my God, like, these niggas ain't shit, da 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 da. But it's like, now that I'm like, 30, I look back at like high school and I'm like, yo, serious relationships in high school, such a double-edged sword. It's a very huge coin toss because when you really think about it, there's a lot of life that you have to live in high school. Like, it is no longer Jesus's time. It is no longer the 40s. It is no longer the 60s. Like, there's so many things that we are exposed to. There's so much life to live that sitting there tying yourself down at the age of like 15, 16, 17, 18 is just a recipe for disaster, especially when you go to college. Like, I feel like if you're just like a regular person that doesn't do anything with their life after high school, I mean, I guess, but even at that, like, you're going to meet different people at work. You're going to meet different people if you travel. You're going to meet, like, I feel like life should be had. Like, I'm not saying you got to be a hoe, but I'm saying, like, there's so many things that you have to be able to do before you settle down. Like, and only the people that's been in that situation will know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, I've been in a few serious relationships, and I would have been fine if I married those people. I mean, I guess, like, hindsight thinking about it. But at the same time, no, I feel like one of us, and it did happen, you know, eventually it'd be like one of us was like, oh, like, you know, we didn't do shit yet. Like, we didn't, you know, we didn't date enough. We didn't go these places. We didn't do certain things by ourselves. And that's what always happens. There's always one person in a relationship that feels like that. People get so upset when I say that, but it's true. It always happens. It's just, this sounds like a freaking teenage boy being a teenage boy. It's not okay because, I mean, I would assume you were hurt by it, but it's just the fact of the matter. 3 months later, he walked me to my place and he said he needed, after this, everyone deserted me and treated me like an outsider. Nah, you're skipping a part of the story. I'm confused. He was legit scared and confused. He ran out after he said he had something to talk to you about. Well, nah. It was like I lost everything. My job, my boyfriend, and I had no choice but to drop out from school. Why? Yeah. Write back to me and tell me the rest of the story. Because you're skipping a whole part. That don't even make sense. How is it that happened and then all of a sudden you lost everybody? What did you do? What did he say you did? What do people think you did? But every guy that I dated never lasted past August. Okay. It was always August. They left or something happened. Either they disappeared or they literally went crazy. That is kind of interesting. To put into context, my last boyfriend I had was when I was 28. He was a bright and very intelligent man. He went into the Air Force. He was getting his life together, such as plans on college, getting a car. We made plans on getting married and moving into a place. That never happened because he went from a stable and intelligent man then went AWOL. Oh, child. The Air Force found him 3 states away, walking on the side of the road in the middle of the night. Oh my God, that's so unfortunate. You may be wondering if I ever tried to find out who this was. I have. Majority that agreed to readings just vanish or something happens. Okay, let me try this again. Majority that agree to readings just vanish or something happens that the readings never happened. So to this moment, it remains a mystery. So basically, I think you're asking, because you didn't ask a question, it just ends there. Basically, is there a spirit inhibiting this? Honestly, I think you just might have a poor choice of shitty ass men. Like, if all of our relationship problems could be equated to the spiritual universe. Like, I'm very sure a lot of us would probably be in completely different states right now. Like, I've had horrible relationships with so many different types of men. I've never in my life thought it was ever spiritual. Like, I don't know. Like, eventually it got to a point where I was like, all right, I'm just picking men that is caca. Like, I'm picking men that obviously, like, I shouldn't be whatever. It could be something with the type of men that you're choosing, point big period. But at the same time, I mean, it could be a spirit. Maybe you have a jealous spirit attached to you, a succubus, an incubus, or whatever that's attached to you, that's attracted to you and doesn't want you in another relationship. I want to know what you guys think. I feel like it's just y'all young. Boys do stupid shit when they're young. You might just have, again, bad choice, poor choice in love, whatever. I don't know. This one was really short, though, so we're going to read another one because, yeah, but this next one actually has absolutely nothing to do with the other one, but it is way longer. I apologize if you guys don't like the way I did this because usually I try to keep like the stories related in some way. Hopefully this one is, but I'm sure it's not. Hey, Yvana, I recently discovered your channel and DM. Let me tell you, girl, I've been upset. Thank you so very much. Anyways, I have a bunch of stories for you. So I'm West African, Eastern European, and what the heck? Balkan? Oh, okay. Balkan heritage. But the stories I have mostly have to do with my West African roots. No vet. It's all over the place. I'm trying hard to connect the stories here, and it might be lengthy because I got a decent bit. So first story actually is from my mother, who is half West African and Eastern European. My grandfather, for whatever reason, decided to bring the family down to insert West African country. Okay, why didn't you just insert the African country? Do y'all read these things before you send it to me? Because what? And basically, my mother made friends with these two boys. The tribe my grandfather comes from, a southern tribe close to the sea, has a specific day where they do not go to the sea to fish or to swim. It sounds like the story that I told you guys about how my cousin got kidnapped by a mermaid. Fishing is forbidden strictly, but you can catch a couple people swimming. For the sake of the story, let's call our two friends James and Charles. Choice of names. She doesn't remember whose initial idea it was, but she, James, and Charles headed down to the sea. Mind you, my mother's afraid of water. Even if it's a pool, she's still scared. This might tie into another story, which I'll narrate. Now, I might forget some details because she told me this years ago and won't for the life of her retell the story for whatever reason. But anyways, so she and James are like sitting next to the boat, mending fishnets and just talking. And for some ridiculous reason, Charles decides it would be a fabulous idea to get in the damn water. Apparently, he didn't even go in deep. He was getting his feet wet. Maybe at most he was in below knee level water. Anyways, my mom and James are like, EI boy? I don't know. It says EI. Oh, I? Okay, I boy, get the fuck back here because you're not supposed to be in the water. And of course, he didn't listen. From the story, they turn around for a bit, and the next thing they know, Charles is being dragged. I shouldn't be laughing. People should really listen when they know they're not supposed to go into damn water. What? Charles is being dragged into open water and drowning. Oh my God. Practically screaming for help. James and my mother go to get help, but obviously it's too late. What the hell? Why ain't y'all going to water and helping? I mean, I ain't about to risk my life either, especially when you told your dumb ass not to go in the goddamn water. Yeah. Charles' body was missing for a week. There was a search party and his body could not be found. A week from his disappearance in the water, they found his body washed up on shore, dead. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Poor job. I won't go into details of what he looked like. Everybody believed it was Mami Water, the very known water spirit. The day he got drowned was a Tuesday. This day is said to be a holy day for her, in which why we don't go swimming or even swim this day. Well, should have listened. No offense. Not justifying, the fact that he passed away. That's actually really sad. But people need to really listen. When there are rules about a certain area, you need to follow it because things will happen to you. James' parents, as a form of punishment, made James take a look at his best friend's decomposing body as a reminder of what happens when you don't abide by the rules. Well, that's a little harsh. I think his friend passing away was enough, but I digress. Now, back to my mother and grandfather. I was actually talking to him yesterday. He's 93 years old. And asking him about like stories from his youth. And then I remember that once when I was like 9 years old, I was up with him late and basically he told me about how he spoke to a mermaid at night. What? He spoke to a mermaid at nighttime. He was walking around the shores. I don't remember exactly, but he may or may not have made a deal with the mer person. Why the fuck? I will say, of all the mystical things to make a deal with, I will say probably mermaids are probably the worst ones because they really don't care about what it is to get you back. If you made some sort of promise, some sort of deal, you can't keep it, they do not give a fuck. They gonna come after everybody. And now here I am talking to him about it, and he tells me he's seen them walk on water and walk on the waves. Yeah, that's what I've heard too. He, however, won't retell that story of him possibly making a deal with the mer person. Yeah, you're not supposed to go around telling people about these deals. But now I strongly believe that he's done some dealing with spirits at some point of his life. If not him, then someone down the line, because I got told a lot as a kid that our name, my grandpa's last name, is the same as a god, or there's a shrine with our name dedicated to it or something like that. The point is, our last name has something to do with spirituality in his community. So y'all don't know that's where last names come from? Besides slavery, community connections, spiritual connections, that's where last names come from. I mean, I don't think it's very unique, but I don't know. Maybe he changed it along the way when he made some certain deal. Who knows? Also, remember how I mentioned my mother is definitely afraid of water. And in one of your videos, you mentioned something like, oh, if a person is scared of water, it's because maybe it ties to merfolk or something like that. Yeah. In some cases, like I'm definitely afraid of water. I don't think I'm a mermaid though, but I'm terrified of water. But anyways, now tell me, Yvana, isn't it sus that he's been a mermaid on multiple occasions? Wait, what? Isn't it sus that he's seen mermaids on multiple occasions and possibly dealt with one, and now his daughter is definitely afraid of water in general? I'm afraid of water too. I don't know. Like that's not like that's a very general thing. Like it's very general. Also, my mother was known to have, I wouldn't say supernatural powers, like, but she wasn't normal. She could always sense things and see things. Even spiritual people reached out to her and tried to get her to learn the arts, but her own abilities frightened the ever loving shit out of her. Now she's given her life to Christ and all of that. And that sounds like my mom, man. I wanted to, my mom got some sort of gifts because she sees things just like me and she just ignores them. She acts like it don't exist. She'll try to downplay it. It's very interesting. Now, I don't know if this has to do with any of this, but I'm opposite of my mother in terms of the water. As a kid, I loved the water. I couldn't give two flying fucks about the sea creatures and things like that. Like Charlie Way Tian concerned me. Oh, child, I didn't notice that was patois. I had to turn on my other brain. My obsession was the water. I'd do anything to be in the water, and looking back at it, it wasn't natural. It was like water just called out for me like a trance. At one point, my mother used to call me her water baby. Now, my best friend at the time, our mothers were close. What? My best friend? Okay. Our mothers were close, and she practically forced my mom to tag along to the beach with her. We're at the beach, and we are told to stay in, I don't know what you call it, but there were rocks, and they formed a semicircle, which kind of created a pool. So we kids are strictly told to stay there, and me and myself, child, I don't know these terms. Y'all don't have to outline these. Like, I'm Haitian, but I don't be knowing a lot of these, like, other Caribbean terms. I'm not going to hold you. Mumu self decided that let me just climb over them rocks and me on turn no voila. Yeah, God in, I tell you, say no, be stubbornness, it be pure foolishness. I don't even know what my matter was. This one girl who was slightly older than me tried stopping me, and I basically just I for her. Just GI for her. I guess maybe that means roll her eye. I remember her shouting at me that it wasn't dangerous. And I remember her shouting at me that it was dangerous and I shouldn't. And I was like, you know, be my mom. You know, fi follow me talk. Should have listened to her for real. Long story short, I climb over them rocks and now I'm like in the sea, like actual sea ocean. How? Funny enough, I don't remember seeing my mother or her friend anywhere, but there was a bunch of people and I was like, hey, freedom, let me do whatever I please before my mom comes back and talks about me matter. Anyway, so there I am swimming. I keep going further and further. And I remember this guy. He was the furthest out and I swam to where he was. You're bugged the fuck out. You were bold as hell. What? He was friendly and all, and I swam past him. Mind you, I can't swim. Like, I know how to swim, but I don't know how to swim, if that makes sense. No, I don't get it either. You know how to swim. You don't know how to swim. I don't know. Chad, I can't swim, so I can't fucking tell you. So, yeah, I have a little floaty with me, and I swim past him. And I got to a point where I could weirdly feel my feet touch sand below me. And I was like, okay, weird. But okay, then I turn around and realize I'm actually far off. And then all of a sudden, sand below me sort of fades. And just I'm here just bobbing in the ocean. I really don't care because, I was a kid and I love the water. All of a sudden, I get the feeling that I'm not alone. I just feel something in the water. Like it's not touching me or anything, but I feel a presence in the water. Like how someone stands behind you and you're not in physical contact, but you can feel them. That's exactly what it was. And that's where I began to panic. Now, remember this guy who I swam past? I don't remember if he swam towards me or the water moved me back in the direction of his. But then before I knew it, I was beside him and he was like, ma'am, what you do here? And I would have drowned because what? Why are you out here? He was all smiley and shit. And I guess the panic in my eyes was obvious. And he basically pushed me to shallow water. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. It wasn't shallow water, but he just shoved me and my little floaty towards the shore, which was still a distance away from where I was. He wasn't going to go any closer to shore. Now, part of me sits back and thinks, yeah, what if that was one of them water folk? At the same time, he looked too normal to be one. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it the more I think, because I can swear I saw his legs and I got no vibes from him. And he looked like your basic guy at the beach. Oh, mind you, I didn't see him again after that. But then again, I'm not surprised. There are quite a number of people there. Okay, if there's a lot of people on the beach and you see someone out in the water where you're not supposed to go because your parents told you not to go, more than likely that's just a regular person. I don't know. From what I understand. Okay, let me know what you guys think about this story as well as the other story. But in regards to this story, most mermaids are far as shit in the water. Like they're far. Like they don't come to shore. And if they do, it's like you're gonna be by yourself or at least with like one person. They're not gonna go when they see a lot of people at the beach. It's just not, it's very rare for that to happen. But even if that were the case, it's just like you a little comfortable. Y'all be real comfortable. Y'all in crowds out to these mermaids. I ain't got time. Like, that's actually kind of creepy. I mean, it could have just been someone swimming afar. Like, every time I've been to the beach anyway, there's always those, like, few people that just, like, go so far, like, you can only see a dot. Like, you can see them, but it's like they're so far away. And I always just be looking at them like, how bold? It can never be me. I get on. Anyways, now, you don't do them things no more. Yeah, as you should never. I'm still very obsessed with water, but since the incident, I've actually not been able to go into water with peace of mind. At least you learned something. I constantly felt like there's something with me in the water. Especially when I close my eyes and my head is underwater. I immediately panic. Why would do people do that? I ain't a swimmer. That's wild. Not to mention, now that my belief in merfolk has been solidified, y'all if you catch me swimming in them deep, deep waters. Thank God, because no. Yo, even in the shower, I have to have my eyes open. Okay, that must have been a traumatizing experience for you. And that doesn't even sound that bad, but I feel like everybody has that experience once they come in contact with something that they think could be a mermaid. Then again, I might have a very active imagination or be paranoid. Who knows? I mean, the fact that you didn't see him again is a little weird because you would have kind of saw him if you were looking back or you would have got to shore and you would have been, I don't know. I want to know what you guys think about this story because this one, I don't know. I feel like this one, that could have been a mermaid, but I don't know. They kind of tend to stay away from people. And I mean, you were a kid at the time. I'm surprised they didn't kidnap your ass. They love to kidnap babies. Like I'm not talking shit about y'all. But that's like their favorite thing to do. But again, like I said, let me know what you guys think about that story. If you have your own stories to share, please make sure you send them to the email right here on the screen. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'm going to see y'all next time. Bye!